The idea that Kemet, the land we now call ancient Egypt, began as a multicultural melting pot is not just a historical oversight. It is a fundamental misunderstanding of how this great civilization was born. To understand the true origins of Kemet, we must look to the south, into the heart of Africa. Long before the first stone of a pyramid was ever laid, the conception, foundation, and establishment of Kemet were purely an indigenous African achievement. Born from the sophisticated cattle-herding cultures of the Saharan and Nilotic regions, this was a civilization conceived, designed, and built by Africans who harnessed the rhythms of the Nile to create the most enduring society in human history. For thousands of years, during the pre-dynastic and early dynastic periods, the cultural DNA of Kemet was exclusively African. From the spiritual concept of Mat to the divine role of the pharaoh, every pillar of their society mirrored the traditions found deep within the African continent. It was only after Kemet had transformed into the first global superpower, possessing immense wealth, unparalleled architectural sophistication, and a standard of living that was the envy of the known world, that it became a magnet for outsiders. Just as people today migrate to economic hubs for trade, education, and a better life, foreigners from the Levant, the Mediterranean, and beyond flocked there. They didn't build the house, they were attracted to the light already shining from within it. When people attempt to challenge this African foundation, they often point to a widely publicized 2017 DNA study conducted by the Max Planck Institute. This study is frequently used as a gotcha to suggest that ancient Egyptians were more closely related to Near Eastern populations than to sub-Saharan Africans. However, this is a classic case of misinterpreting data by ignoring the timeline. The samples used in that 2017 study came from a site in Middle Egypt, and the remains dated from the New Kingdom down to the Roman period. By this time, Kemet had already been a unified, thriving civilization for over 2,000 years. It had already survived invasions by the Hyksos trade expansions and various waves of migration. To use DNA from this late, cosmopolitan era to define the origins of the Old Kingdom is like testing the DNA of modern New Yorkers to determine who founded the Iroquois Confederacy. It is scientifically and historically disingenuous. If we look at the earlier remains from the Nagada period or the royal burials of the first dynasties, the biological and cultural affinities are unmistakably linked to the peoples of the South. These indigenous Africans developed the world's first national government, the first complex writing system, and a mastery of mathematics and medicine that the world is still trying to decode. They created a standard of living so high that it remained the benchmark of human achievement for millennia. Foreigners didn't bring civilization to Kemet. They came to Kemet to learn what civilization actually was. They came as merchants, as laborers, and sometimes as students of the great mystery schools, but they arrived at a table that had already been set for centuries. When we speak of Kemet, we must be clear. It was an African diamond, polished by African hands, reaching its brilliance long before the rest of the world arrived at its gates. For millennia, the indigenous Africans of Kemet were the guardians of profound spiritual and scientific wisdom. Their mastery of astronomy, medicine, and architecture was unparalleled. Scholars from across the ancient world journeyed to the Nile Valley, seeking to learn from these masters, a testament to Kemet's enduring legacy. Knowing Kemet changes how you see history and how you see yourself. Like and subscribe for more insights. Thanks for watching.